Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. So it looks like Stephanie White is back once again doing another interview with 93.5 The Fan out in Indianapolis. And y'all already know, the last time she talked with them, the interview had everybody making headlines and reacting all over social media. Well, now she's back again, and this time she talked about Caitlyn Clark, the offense, and a few other things surrounding the team. Now, I'm going to keep it real with y'all. I haven't listened to this full interview yet. It's around 12 to 13 minutes long, so we're about to check this thing out together right here on the channel. Shout out to everybody who already heard it, but this is my first time reacting to it. So sit back, grab something to drink, and let's get into this interview right now.
Be consistent scrutiny and analysis in all areas, right? And when she misses a game due to a late minute scratch, if you will, I went back and saw, and I think it was on May 9th, you had made comment almost foreshadowing, I don't mean that, but that, hey, there are certain areas in a player where there's going to be the occasional game like that, right? I mean, there are going to be tweaks that happen over the course of a season with the player. Were you surprised by the scrutiny that came with her missing a game?
I was. I mean, it happens all the time. And in fact, I think Kevin Durant was a late scratch for game one of the first round of the playoffs. It's the nature of sport. And I think those who haven't been an athlete, those who haven't been injured, those who haven't gone through the rigors of what it means to go through the process of being a professional athlete, let alone coming back from injury. There are things that flare up all the time. And so I was surprised, but, we talk to our players all the time about we control the things that we can control, and we can't control that. We can't control the outside noise. We can just make sure that we're prepared to play a ball game.
For any player, especially at the professional level, how do you as a coach navigate or find the balancing act between applauding and promoting a competitive nature in an athlete while also making sure that there's a clear line of the authority within a system?
I think you just continue to have conversation. Look, you don't want to take away the emotion of a game, of a competitor. That's the nature of the beast. But you also have to channel it and harness it, in a way that's beneficial to our team. There are plenty of fiery, competitive players out there, and our job as coaches is to continue to push and challenge and continue to navigate and help influence it in a positive direction.
You have three very talented, you have a lot of talented offensive players on this roster, but notably between Caitlyn Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston, we've talked about it. You've got, I think, three really gifted offensive players. When you try to then really tighten the screws defensively, does sometimes schematically that come at the cost of your offense?
Damn. So this dude is cooking, bro. He's basically asking if they kind of neglect defense because their offense is so powerful. Because there have been times when I've seen them at practice and it looked like they were not as disciplined as a team like the Dallas Wings. We've seen the Dallas Wings come in there and shut them down. We've also seen other mediocre teams come in there and shut them down too. So is it because their offense is so powerful that she kind of neglects the defensive side of the ball? That was actually a good question, bro. Oh man, I gotta hear what she has to say. They are cooking right now, bro.
I don't think so. I think that when we're better defensively, it helps our offense because we're a team that wants to play with pace. We have great players that can play in the open floor. And if you're consistently taking the ball out of the net or putting people at the foul line, that stops your ability to play with pace. It stops your ability to do what you do best. I think that there needs to be an emphasis. You can't, this league is too good. We can't just outscore people and expect to win or expect to compete for a championship. We've got to be solid on the defensive end. We don't have to be the top defensive team, but we can't be at the bottom. And I think we've got to be solid enough to give us a chance. There are days when we're not going to make shots. There are days when things don't go our way on offense, and our defense has to always be consistent, and we've got to be able to rely on it, and it's got to travel.
When you look at your offense, Stephanie White is my guest. She's the head coach of the Indiana Fever. They take on Golden State tomorrow night. Pregame at 9:30. The game is at 10 o'clock. I think I said the Fieldhouse. It's obviously on the road. But, Coach, when you look at your offense, and maybe it varies from play to play, but more often than not, who is your first offensive option?
Our first offensive option is usually Caitlyn Clark.
Oh my God, bro. She really didn't backtrack this time. And that's what makes this moment so shocking. Stephanie White has repeatedly talked about Kelsey Mitchell being the focus and how important Kelsey Mitchell is to the offense. We've heard it over and over again throughout the season. But this time, Stephanie White said something completely different, and it caught me off guard. She straight up said, "Our first option is Caitlyn Clark." Bro, I'm not gonna lie, I have never heard her say that before. Not once. So now the big question becomes, what does this mean moving forward for Kelsey Mitchell and the Fever? Is the offense officially becoming Caitlyn Clark's team completely? Guys, I need y'all in the comments right now. Have you ever heard Stephanie White openly call Caitlyn Clark the first option before? This feels historic, man.
But, it's in different ways. So, she does a great job of playing in transition and finding, especially Aaliyah Boston in the paint, running the floor, finding Kelsey on the wing. The challenge is that good defensive teams aren't going to always give you your first option. So how do we get high-quality options for everybody on the floor? Obviously, our big three are going to get the bulk of the shots.
Right.
And we need to fill in the pieces with everybody else and our role players and understanding where they're going to get their looks, how we're going to get it to them, putting them in position for success so it takes some pressure off of the big three to carry us. They certainly do a great job, but we've got players who can knock down shots. We got players who can really run the floor. We've got players who are elite cutters. Making sure that you have the right pieces around them is really important.
If you look at your offense and then you go, Kelsey Mitchell and Aaliyah Boston, you mentioned your big three. Is there a set, secondary option, or is that situational based on look that is presented?
I think it's not just situational based on look, it's situational based on opponent. Now, where do we have an advantage? Do we have an advantage getting downhill? Do we have an advantage, getting paint touches? Do we have an advantage in the two-man? Where are they strong defensively? Where are they weak defensively? Are they weak at guarding, off-ball cutting? Then that's going to be an emphasis. Are they really good in ball screen option? Okay, then maybe our split screen, off-ball screening options are going to be. It's not as simple as just rolling out the ball out there and running plays. Like, this isn't college. This isn't high school. You've really got to find the strengths and weaknesses of your opponent and try to exploit them in the best way that you can.
I feel like every team, I often say, Coach, and I use this analogy a lot on the radio, but in any office place, there's a person that I always call the copier person. And let me explain. What I mean by that is you go up on the third floor, there's 4 people standing around the copier, it's jammed, nobody can figure out whether it needs toner, what's going on. And there's always that one person in any office, they go, ask Scotty, he can fix it. He knows how to fix everything. He knows where every body's buried. He knows everything. And a basketball team, I think, has that. There's always that person that we outside the locker room don't realize that they're kind of the glue piece that can do like 5 different roles that makes everything go in cohesion. Who would that player be for you?
No, I think we have 2. I think we have them in different ways. I think Lexi and Sophie are that for us. Lexi is obviously an outstanding defensive player. She's an energy player. She's a great cutter, which gets other things open for people. Sophie is really a Swiss Army knife, so to speak. We play her in a lot of different positions. We play her in a lot of different roles. She's an elite communicator. She's experienced. She's been through it. She understands. She gets everybody in the right spots. And so I think those 2 collectively are our copiers.
I think when you look at the acquisition in the offseason of Raven Johnson, defensively is what was seemingly most intriguing about her. Where would you assess what she has been able to do so far?
I think she's been really good. Obviously there are going to be some growing pains. Certainly she's not going to be able to get away with taking some of the chances that she did in college. Now everybody's as fast as her. Now everybody's as strong as her. Now everybody has great length. And so I think just there's a learning curve for every rookie. There's no doubt about it. But she impacts the game, and you can see it with her energy, with her unselfishness, the ability to give us a different look on the defensive end. And I think she's really starting to come into her own in finding her ways to attack on offense. She's really becoming a very good downhill player. And outside of Kelsey Mitchell, we don't really have one of those downhill players that can just get to the rim and make plays for themselves and for others. And I think she has the ability to develop into that.
I can't believe, by the way, and I'm not trying to call you out on this. Stephanie White is my guest, the head coach of the Indiana Fever. Here you are scoring champion, Indiana Miss Basketball, national champion, Purdue, you name it, right? And yet, Sunday was your very first Indianapolis 500. Now, I'm glad you went.
I know,
and
I'll
give you, but that stuns me. That's the first time you went to the race. I need your overall critique and thoughts of the race.
It was incredible. Certainly we're used to playing basketball on Memorial Day weekend. But growing up as a kid and in high school and in college and, certainly as a player for the Fever, anytime I had an opportunity to go to qualifying or time trials, I would go, but never really had an opportunity to go to the actual race. And, it's, you really cannot comprehend the energy in the Speedway when you're watching it on television. I mean, it's incredible. Had a great time. It was a blast. Of course, the finish was incredible. And, certainly I took my son who loves to race. He's in a go-kart league, so it was his dream to go. And we had a great time.
Now, your son was rooting for Alexander Rossi. Is that right?
He was, yes.
And yet he still stuck through the race after Rossi had to drop out, right? He was still interested in, right?
And a smile the entire time.
Well, that's pretty cool, right? That's what it's all about. Now, did you see, obviously, Caitlyn Clark was, ordered the drivers to their cars. Were you with her when that took place? Were you part of that party, if you will, because she looked nervous? She didn't look nervous doing it.
I saw her before she went down there. And she didn't seem nervous to me. I like that helmet, though. That helmet was nice.
Yeah, I just saw her. It was like the Seinfeld where they were trying to do these pretzels are making me thirsty. She kept trying to figure out which way she's supposed to say it and go over the line. The reason I bring it up is because, and I wanted to simply address this. Your relationship, player to coach, coach to player with Caitlyn Clark is what and where?
It's great. It's great. I have so much respect and admiration for her as a player, as a person, the way that she handles herself. We're very much alike in terms of our competitive fire, our competitive spirit, our perfectionism, so to speak, and type A personalities. I love going to work with her every day. I love that she loves to be coached and challenged and pushed. She wants to be the best, and you want to be surrounded by people who want to be the best. And so she makes it easy to come to work and to get after it every day.
You were rooting for who? Alexander Rossi for your son.
So that's pretty much the interview, guys. Drop down in the comment section and let me know your thoughts, because I honestly think Stephanie White answered a lot of important questions in this interview. I'm not gonna lie, this was actually a really good one, and there were a few moments that definitely stood out to me. Now, I want to hear what y'all think about everything she said regarding Caitlyn Clark, the offense, and the direction of the Fever moving forward. Do you agree with Stephanie White's comments or not? Make sure you guys get active in the comments, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more updates and reactions.